It is Kayla and Brian here with Tactical Response, and we still, after proving with a Doppler that these worked, still had people talking hate. I think, the general consensus after that was, well, okay, fine, they do work, but they're too thin. They're more likely to cause nerve damage. If you don't put them on the way that they were designed to be used, you are correct. So, unfortunately, that's a lot of user error. So we want to show you the proper way to apply a rat's tourniquets to give you the same width or wider than a windlass. Okay, Brian? Okay, fingers are going to go through here. Bring it around. Come through. Make sure that this tourniquet is high and tight because those are the only places to put them. And then you pull against this. Pro tip, if you can leave the cleat up top, it makes it much easier to secure. And everybody says, well, I don't have time to make sure. You don't have time to do it twice. You may have time to make sure that you take the 2 seconds at the beginning, the cleat to the top, and go. So if you don't think you have time, you definitely don't have time to mess it up. So you will pull against it, start pulling, and it's going to work in a snake-like effect. Okay? It almost looks like the medical symbol, the snake going down there. Mm-hmm. So the standard is 1 inch wide. Okay. Girl's inch or guy's inch. That is, turn your arm, I want to see. That is at least 1 inch wide. Closer to 2, 1.5 inches, 2. That is at least 1 inch wide. If we had any measuring tape, I'd prove it. But guys, it's the same width. When we use the overhead camera, it is the same width as this yellow duct tape. Okay, do we have a cap on hand back here?
No.
Okay. Something else that you guys discussed, because I was just going to put them side by side and prove it. Something else that you guys were questioning that we can go ahead and fit in here was if you are the only one practicing with your tourniquet, or if you have a situation where it's just like me and Brian, and you're the one that put it on, so you can't take it off, and they're the one that has it, so they can't take it off. What do you do? And
leave it on forever.
You could do that, or you could go through a series of steps. And what I tell people to do, training with a partner and a third person to pop tourniquets for you is the absolute gold standard. I know that not everybody can do that. I've met some of you. You probably don't have friends. Kidding. No, seriously,
Nerds.
If you have to train by yourself, I get it. I've had to do it before. You've probably had to do it before. A lot of us have, even when we do have a ton of friends. When you have to do it by yourself, you need to set up a series of steps to do. Like when I train with a tourniquet and it's just me by myself, I train in my living room, and the only place that I'm allowed to take the tourniquet off once I get it on is in my bedroom closet. And when I get to my closet, I still have more steps. I get to my closet, the only place I'm allowed to take my tourniquet off, and I say, I'm done with training. This is not me bitching out. This is because it's an appropriate time to take the tourniquet off. And then I remove the tourniquet. So, we are done with training. This is the only place in Tactical Response that this is ever allowed to happen is on video. Otherwise, we'll go find somebody to take it off for us. But since we want to do everything on video for you guys, this is our place here at Tactical Response to be able to remove tourniquets. This is where you have to come to. We're done training. You're not bitching out.
You don't
I'm
know
not
that.
bitching out. It's safe to take the tourniquet off right now.
It is.
Okay.
I agree.
So I'm going to do that. So when they are used as intended, they do get really wide. There was some room for arms that are bigger, because my arms are a little bit bigger than Brian's. So there's room for motion. I get it on the legs that you're not going to be able to get that full inch, but still, they work. And if it, like you had some temporary nerve issues from putting one on too tight.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to go away? Like a week or two?
Something like that. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like total. It was a little
They were
loss
just
of
tingling.
sensation in some fingers. But you have to understand, I do this demo
And you leave it on
all the time. I put a tourniquet on one limb. I talk. I let the limb go dead. I put a tourniquet on another limb. I talk. I walk around. And I do this every time we teach immediate action medical. I do this every time I teach any class, like vehicle tactics or any advanced classes where we teach tourniquets or have students run tourniquets through the drill as part of the drill, right?
And even sometimes for videos.
Yeah. And lately, I don't know, there was like three times I put on tourniquets and videos, like recently. And so, no, I do this all the time, full occlusion. I don't have any lasting problems.
Right. And again, even if you did, you don't. But even if you did, we are still choosing life here. Like, the alternative is to let someone bleed out. Because while the cats and all of those windlass style tourniquets are amazing, they don't work on kids. They bottom out. They don't work on your pets. They bottom out. And if this is good enough for my kids, it's good enough for me.
Yeah. So I want to clear the air and say, I don't have a problem with cat tourniquets.
Right.
I have cat tourniquets in my kit.
I carry some too.
Yeah. Like, I know how to use them. I recommend them to people. The problem is the Velcro sticks to itself sometimes. And like Kayla said, they can only get so small.
Yep. And since becoming a mom of 3 little beautiful assholes, like that, being able to make sure that my kids are safe and that I can handle emergencies with my children is my main priority. And that is what made me switch over to the elastics versus the windlass.
So I'll show you guys what made me switch over. So Kayla showed you the textbook way to put this thing on if you're worried about nerve damage and stuff like that. So someone asked me to do a one-handed self-application demo. So I'm going to stick my fingers
Move that way just a little bit.
through the loop here. There's a sticker on here that tells you to put 3 fingers in. I don't really care. This is a training tourniquet, so that thing just works its way off with training. So stick your hand through the loop, and we, try to get the cleat up top. I'm just going to throw that thing, the tail, over the limb. I'm going to grab the tail that's now went around the limb. I'm going to pull that through the loop, and I'm going to pull all of the slack out of this thing until there ain't no more slack. And I'm going to wrap it around again, pulling out all of the slack if there's any. So at this point, I'm going to tell you that with 1.5 wraps, or however you want to count it, 1 wrap, 2 wraps, whatever, the blood flow has been occluded right now. It's already stopped. So all I have to do is throw that tail into a cleat, and I bet you could already see the difference in the color of my hands. Like, we're not busting out the Doppler for this, but I assure you that
there's full occlusion there.
Yeah. And that was 1 or 2 wraps. So I can continue to wrap that if I want to, if I need to, if I want to take up the tail, or if I want it to look pretty. But if I'm bleeding to death in a matter of seconds, I'll just go ahead and do it this way.
You keep pushing me over. We see your intentions here, Brian.
I like that side.
And for me, the same thing that he was just talking about with that, I can get the bleeding stopped enough with my kids to not have to do a whole wrap. And I've put them on back-to-back adults and gotten 3 adults done in under 45 seconds. 3 separate adults, 3 tourniquets with complete occlusion done in under 45 seconds. And like that's my standard is 3, seeing how fast I can get on because that's how many kids I have. I should probably add a 4th one because I may need one too. Probably.
Well, yeah, because if you can't take care of yourself, then you are not able to take care of others.
But even adding a 4th one, if I'm averaging 15 seconds, that still keeps me under a minute. The rats are my preference. Like Brian said, we have nothing against the cats. Nada. They are good tourniquets that work. Okay? But you don't have to put this down to realize that. Like, they can both coexist as good tourniquets. And when you have children, pets, stuff like that, these just, they go up a little bit more on your preference because they work on them. So that is how you can make a rat's as wide as a cat. Alex noticed that it's like rats versus cats.
That's what, yeah.
And
It's rapid tourniquets, Kayla.
Rapid tourniquets. Sorry, they were rats for so long.
I know.
Rapid tourniquets.
I'm going to call them rats for the rest of my life.
But the rapid tourniquets, that they have been rebranded, but they're great, guys. They work. The cat tourniquets, they're great, guys. They work on 95%.
Most humans.
Most humans, just not little kids and pets. Alrighty. Remember,
your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.